Hey friendos, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Matt. We are back with some more Marvel Future Fight. And yes, as you can see on screen, we have the update sneak peek number 5 for December, our final mid-month of the cycle. And as you can see, greetings agents, this is CM Fragment of Marvel Future Fight, a time traveler who has warped space-time and destroyed countless timelines descends upon us. Conqueror of the multiverse. And if we click on it, we can see that it is indeed the Ramuh Tut version of Kang the Conqueror. Sadly, this is one that we're not going to get in the MCU because of obvious reasons. Is one we probably would have got back when they were still doing the Kang Dynasty stuff. But yeah, he was meant to be one of the three main protagonists. Obviously, there was him, and then there was the other two who were like in the main council of Kangs. I think very exciting. Kang naked. Okay, yeah, sure. Being pointless and then complaining that Kang isn't coming. Yeah, okay, yeah. So exactly, it does make sense thematically, and I think it was data mined as well that we were getting Kang coming at the end of this Young Avengers update. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, on to the subject of today's video, because Kang really isn't much of a subject. I mean, we all knew he was getting it, but until we obviously get it in game or see some patch notes as to what his kit includes, not really too much to go on there. Kang, as he stands at the moment, is kind of one of those characters, like so many over the last like sort of 18 months or so, who came in and didn't really move the needle, unfortunately. Obviously, he does have an artifact which is free in his World Boss Legend, so if he is going to be good, now might be a time to start hitting those World Boss runs, and obviously trying to grind out for those emblems or artifacts, whatever you want to call them. If we go down here, don't even know how far I've even got with him. Not very far, but yeah, you can see first clear there. You can get 4-star, and then obviously going further up 5 and 6-star. I haven't bothered with Kang because I just didn't care. I think like pretty much soon after, like we started getting the World Boss Legend Plus, obviously like Black Swan and stuff, which was dropping the tier 4 materials. And yeah, I don't know about you. I know other like content creators have been going back to these older ones just to get the 5 and 6-star well, okay, maybe not Ultron, but like Gore, Jean, and Kang to get the 5 and 6-star artifacts, but I haven't at all. I've just been sticking with Black Swan, Black Dwarf and Ebony Maw, Corvus and Proxima, and Thanos and the Black Order, just for the tier 4 materials, which you don't get otherwise. But that's that. And as for the topic of today's video, I was going to do a tier list. I was going to go through like I've done last year and in other years, going through, or I could have favorited a bunch of uniforms and characters here and said these are the best characters of 2025 and these are the worst characters of 25, and oh my goodness, what were they thinking with this character and that character. But that's just the uniforms. And I think if 2025 proved anything, it's more the fact that, you look at the characters, and for the most part, with some notable exceptions of characters who've really sort of sprung up from nowhere and have really like improved in the meta, most characters have stayed the same. Sure, Sentry got his Thunderbolts uniform and his tier 4. He pretty much stayed where he was, right around the top of the PvP meta, nothing for PvP. Null we got at the end of 2024, he hasn't changed at all. Shockingly, Logan, and I don't even have his Deadpool and Wolverine, I just have his X-Deaths, somehow still, he is still hanging on at the top of PvP, so that's quite wild. And then we had some good updates with the likes of Storm and the X-Men 97, she proved to be really strong, and then we had some, less good ones. But don't really see the point in talking about just the uniforms. I want to take a more sort of holistic view and have a look at the state of the game. as we're going into 2026 now, because I think, for the most part, a lot of people are wrong about Marvel Future Fight. I think this game is in a stronger position now than it was 12 months ago. Sure, we've got things like the Emblem Collection, which, yes, we know now that they've added the Incredible Hulks, and they're probably going to be adding more as well, and they're probably going to be like, you know, only for people who are gambling. And yeah, you could say it's pretty much for exploiting the whales. But let's be honest, it's the whales who keep this game running. It's them who are spending the real money, the big money in game that makes Marvel Future Fight as profitable as it is. And that's the only reason why the game is in such a good place right now, is because they are still spending, they are still finding new ways of keeping those players engaged. And whilst those players who spend the big money are engaged, whether it's through the Team Up collection, whether it's through the Emblem collection, whether it's through the new system that they're talking about are bringing in for 2026, where you'll be able to have 2 custom gears, so you could have a brilliant Rage for PvE, and then like a brilliant, you know, Conquest for, or you know, PvP, so you don't have to have like a hybrid build like we have here with Null. We can go straight PvP with like the Conquest, or we can go straight PvE and have those side by side on the same character. So yeah, those things you could say, oh, it makes it pay to win. Let's be honest, most of us who are going to be playing in those pay to win situations, like your team battle arenas, as we get our rewards, like, we're not going to be up here in the highest echelons anyway. You know, the people who are the top of Challenger are people who are spending loads of money on game anyway. So saying, oh, they've got an unfair advantage, yeah, because they've spent loads of money, you're not going to catch up with them anyway, okay? So I think like some people need to sort of like tone it down and accept, you know what, yeah, sure, I played like some of these modes. We don't play Alliance Tournament over here because we're not like that heavy involved an alliance over here. We like to just be casual and keep it easy. But if I wanted to, yeah, I could probably go into a more competitive alliance and get into Alliance Tournament, and then I'd probably be pressured to like spend loads of money to have like the most min-max builds ever. But that's really not for me. Timeline Battle, sure, you could probably like spend a load of money, but what are you going to do? Get like a little bit higher returns? Get like, you know, 200 crystals instead of 180 crystals? The people who are going to be at the top are still going to be the same sort of whales. So I think that's kind of like beating a dead horse, and we need to let that go now, because the game is over 10 years old, and I think we kind of just need to move past that and accept that, you know, these are business reasons that keep the game in the shape that it's in, but there's still plenty of other things here for the rest of us to enjoy. You know, I've said before, like the Shield Archive events that come like a few times a year, really fun, and allow, you know, people who don't spend any money at all to get like a brilliant CTP or a brilliant card, or, you know, some other really good rewards. We've got rid of a lot of the grind. Multiverse Invasion is no longer here. We just have Giant Boss Raid and World Event. Even Timeline Battle, they have halved the amount of entries we have to do, so the game is less grindy, but they also doubled the rewards. So instead of 1.5 million, you get 3 million for 60 entries or 70 entries, whatever it is. In terms of challenge mode, obviously we have seen Zombie Survival be altered. I don't know how much of a difference it's made. To be honest, I still think it's pretty much the same as it was, but if it is making it easier for some other players, then that's awesome. The biggest thing for me is the fact that you can now just do a bunch of multis and click on, and then you can just do your 5 runs, leave it, and come back and it's done, which is great. And because there's no interactive feature like with Multiverse Invasion, you don't have to worry about other people not queuing up or like dropping out at the last minute, and then, you know, your run's not counting or stalling. That's brilliant. World Boss, we've seen a bunch of new additions to it. We know that we're going to be getting more. We also know that we're also going to be getting the first clear rewards. and be able to keep pushing. Now that does mean, obviously I haven't even done mine today, so I probably need to get on that. But once you've used up your 5 entries, you will be able to keep pushing higher, but you'll still need the characters. So you can only go as high as you've got tier 4 characters. You can't just say, okay, this is my team, this one here, say with Null, Silver Surfer and Agent Venom. And Venom, not Agent Venom. You can't just like keep using that over and over and over again to push all the way to stage, say, 99 on the first day. I mean, you know, disregarding the fact that there will be different, you know, disqualifiers for certain types of characters. You'll still have to have like enough teams to push as high as you want. But the fact that they're bringing that in, so that like training mode actually means you can push a few stages higher, you know, is wonderful, and it's going to be really great. It'll be interesting to see if characters whose potential you gained during that sort of those 5 runs you can then use in those training stages, or if they'll still be disqualified for the day. I think that would be a really nice feature if they could do it, so that if you get a character to say, you know, second potential, get them to level 80 in tier 4, you can't use them for the 5 runs of the day, but then you can use them for those sort of like extra additional training runs to push higher stages. That would be interesting. I'm not sure if that would be too much of a breaking of the system, though, that they wouldn't be able to really sort of, you know, program that in. But yeah, I think in general, the state of Marvel Future Fight in 2026, we've seen, obviously, we got stage 14, we're going to be getting stage 15 coming soon. Obviously, the rewards from Multiverse Invasion have been put back in to stage 1, and in fact, I actually think they're even better than they were before. I don't know if that's just me, or if that is just, you know, confirmation bias because I'm seeing it and thinking it, but as you can see, my gold has shot back up down to like 318, whereas I was under 100 just before Christmas, after having, you know, maxed out all the well, not maxed out, but like, you know, building all the characters from the latest epic quest, the likes of Hades and, you know, Zeus and Hercules, etc. So yeah, I honestly think that it is in a much better place than probably the last 3 years, when we've like stood here at the start of the year and gone, oh, we need this, we need that. I think we've proven that, if anything, even though they say another epic quest is coming, probably don't even need one, because there are so many now. And, you know, whilst it's great to have, you know, these extra things, I think so many people just speed through it now. I think if there was a way of making it so that everyone took the same amount of time, you know, except for like maybe if whales want to spend like loads of like money on it to get it faster, just do something different with the epic quest, because at the moment it's literally just a bunch of clear dispatch mission 50 times to get, you know, X serum or Y item or like Z material. It's very, very generic. So unless they're going to do something new with that, I think that's probably one area that they could focus on. But everything else, we know that we're getting a new GBR. Finally, after Dormammu, we're going to get someone else. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Onslaught? Is it going to be someone else? You know, who knows? To be honest, I think that they could even just go ahead and remake Master Mold and Galactus and turn them into more interesting fights. But yeah, that's about it for now. Like I say, it wasn't going to be anything of a top 10 best, top 10 worst kind of thing for me this year. It was more just looking at the whole state of the game as it is now at the start of 2026. And I think that we're in a stronger point now at the start of this year than we have been for the last 2 or 3. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Wishing you all the happiest of New Year's. Hope you all have a really kind and successful one. And I shall see you in the next video. Until then, bye for now.
We await your return, warrior.